I'm Barbara Dossey from Santa Fe, New Mexico, and currently am Director of Holistic Nursing Consultants. I'm an author and write about holistic nursing, and I'm absolutely passionate too as a Nightingale Scholar about the healing and leadership and the global action mission that Nightingale has left us. And I think it's very interesting as y'all are doing your video on music is to look at Nightingale's quote on music. And she has in her Notes on Nursing, it's written in 1860. She speaks about music, and she says that music has scarcely at all been noticed with the sick, and it is important to look at stringed instruments, the flute, and those instruments that can make a light, continuous sound. And she also said the human voice is very important, and we needed to study more about that. So here we are, Nightingale writes that in 1860, and now here we are in 21st century nursing, and we are able to really integrate and create what Nightingale had the vision for. So one thing that's very exciting in my 40 years of nursing, which is hard to believe now, is how we have really come along in that period of time. We started out in the 60s and the word healing was not even used. In fact, I remember taking my first Healing Touch workshop and coming back to the hospital, and the head nurse of the hospital heard that these 5 nurses had gone and were doing Healing Touch, and she did not want any healing to happen in her hospital. But luckily, and it is truly a joy right now to see how innovative nurses are in using music. The exciting thing for me right now in nursing is that we are really beginning to explore what creates a healing environment. Music is definitely one aspect that can help us create that healing environment. I've had the opportunity to use music with patients with acute chronic pain in biofeedback laboratories and working with people, teaching them how to select music, how to do short phases of it, blending the relaxation and the imagery in their practice sessions, and starting audio and music cassette recording programs in hospitals and in clinics. And the other thing that is so important too, and I'm doing a lot of work right now, is really helping nurses explore what does healing mean and how important it is for them to care for themselves. The workplace is very stressful. And what is important is nurses learn how to engage in these modalities and use them, and then also integrate them in their life away from the clinic and from the hospital. It has a tremendous effect in who they are in their work. I'd love to say something about Florence Nightingale. Many people who are watching your video probably know her name, do not know who she is, but she was a British woman, and she is the founder of modern secular nursing. The thing that's very exciting to me is Nightingale was born in 1820 and she died in 1910. Most people put her back there at about 1860. So I am very hopeful right now in healthcare. The wheels have literally come off of healthcare, and what we can do is create the capacity for bringing healing into the acute care setting. I am thrilled to be part of a marvelous group called the American Holistic Nurses Association. And this is a group of like-minded men and women who understand the healing arts, the responsibility and their ability and capacity to blend both traditional and complementary and alternative therapies in the workplace. And when this is done, healing takes on a whole different dimension. And I'm always fascinated by what happens on a floor when you see patients using music, taking advantage of either a music channel that might be on the television rather than watching, all the trauma that you see on TV every day. And those nurses that bring around music carts that will have different selections of music and teach them how to blend relaxation and imagery and music as they are trying to maybe sleep better or working with acute or chronic pain, and the difference that it makes. In the it was in the mid-80s, we really began to focus very much on helping patients, co-create with them their ability to learn how to use these techniques of relaxation. And certainly music was a big part of that. And I can remember one woman that just stands out in my mind, one of the first people that just, it really hit me what this means. And she had severe Raynaud's. And what that is there's decreased blood flow to the hands, and her hands were always just ice cold. And she would, and she had such poor circulation to her fingers that literally once a nail would start growing out, it was so brittle that it would just, flip off. But anyway, the thing that she did was choose music, and it was harp music. And after about 3 weeks, her ability to warm her hands, learning how to use imagery to truly have that experience of what warm hands would feel like, and all of the ways of bringing a new awareness to the sensations of what normal hands felt like. Because her image had been, they're awful, they're ugly, they hurt, I can't keep nails, and she would, constantly just walk around, beautiful woman, but she'd walk around like this and you'd never be able to see her hand. She was just so embarrassed about her inability to keep nails. And then she learned these skills. So that's just one example. But I think the challenge that we have with the people that we have the privilege of taking care of and really walking that journey during illness is to help them look at stress and anxiety. People don't choose to be in clinics or hospitals, and there is a very short stay now with patients. And when we can help them in those periods of time when nurses or people are not in there to integrate these skills, it will help them in their ability to do this. It's very interesting. I had a friend that went in for a cardiac cath yesterday, and he had a 95% blockage in his in his coronaries, and he's scheduled for a triple bypass. And it was just fascinating. He is a musician. And to talk with him over the phone, he said, I'm really scared. And no one had talked to him about, what, it was just, what to expect for surgery and so forth. And I said, you know what you can do for yourself? Think about the joy that you get from music. Just imagine that you were there either playing your guitar, one of your slow pieces, or you're singing your song. Feel that vibration, and every time that you feel yourself getting anxious or afraid and don't know what you're going to do, just go back to that place of music. He said, this is amazing, thanks. And I can't wait to talk to him because I think it will make a difference because music is his life. I'd like to say a little bit about stress. I know that everyone that's going to be watching your video certainly understands life at its fast pace. It's hectic. We all have more on our plates that we can possibly get done in a day's time. And our responsibility is truly to learn how to care for ourselves. If we aren't caring for ourselves, we can't care well for others, and we can't really be in good relationship with the people we live with, the people we work with, and the people that we're working with in the community. So when we look at stress, what happens is if we are constantly, and a good analogy to use is on the treadmill of life, what we have to do is literally step off. And what are those things that we can do to create those skills of where we can take 3 to 5 minutes just to be quiet. And I'm always amazed in working with my nurse colleagues to say, I don't have time to take a break. But what happens when they're working 8, 10, 12 hours?
You cuties. Yay! It's so nice for Dean and me to find another couple that loves each other and works together and collaborates. I love it.